أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد ولعنة الدائمة على أعدائهم أجمعين من الأولين والآخرين إلى قيام يوم الدين رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. So in our last session, we talked about the disapproved and recommended acts when it comes to clearing the bowels and the bladder. And we also talked about what is istibra. And today, inshallah ta'ala, we are going to address the question that what are the aynun najasa, intrinsic impurities? What are the 7, 8, 9 of those things that are aynun najasa, intrinsic impurities that we have been talking about in our past sessions? So our first question would be, what are the intrinsic impurities? Aynun najasa. You know that something that meets aynun najasa, for example, blood, that is also an impurity. Yeah. For example, there are clothes, there's a body, part of body, or there's carpet that meets impurities that is going to be najis too. But that is not our discussion. Our discussion is in aynun najasa, the intrinsic impurities, the things that are impure and that make other objects impure too. So number one is urine. 2 is feces. 3 is semen. Number 4 is corpse. Blood. Pig. So these are the 9 things that are aynun najasa. Number 1 is urine, that you already know. Feces, we have already talked about. Urine, we have already talked about. Semen, we have already talked about. Corpse of all kinds, they are aynun najasa. Blood is also aynun najasa. We have already talked about this. Dog and pig, you already know. And disbeliever. And the sweat of an excrement eating animal is also aynun najasa. All right. This brings to our next question, and that is the details regarding the first 2 aynun najasa, that is urine and excrement. Is urine and excrement, urine and the feces of the all living beings, all animals, impure, or there is a distinction. When it comes to urine and feces, right? Okay. So first of all, of a human body, and whose animal and every animal whose meat is unlawful to eat, and the third condition is that and whose blood gushes out, if jugular vein is cut. So if these three conditions, for example, so this is for the human being, of a human body, number one, and every animal, okay, what are the two conditions? Whose meat is unlawful to eat, number one, and number two, whose blood gushes out if jugular vein is cut. So what is the hukum? The hukum is that it is there. What is the hukum we are talking about? Hukum of urine and feces. Impure. All right? Okay. Let's move to the second category. An animal whose meat is unlawful to eat, but whose blood does not gush out when jugular vein is cut. Like fish that are unlawful to eat. Not all the kinds of fish, the fish that are unlawful to eat. Or mosquitoes. Mosquitoes. Right. So in this case, in this case, if an animal whose meat is unlawful to eat, like this over here, but the difference is that, but whose blood does not gush out, the meat is unlawful to eat, but whose blood does not gush out when jugular vein is cut, like fish, it could be a small fish, or like mosquitoes or flies, that, okay? So in this case, the feces pure, okay? Urine has two conditions further. If it has meat, impure, obligatory precaution. There's no space, so that's why, but it's obligatory precaution on the basis of obligatory, otherwise pure. Okay, let's go through this one again once more. An animal whose meat is unlawful to eat, but whose blood does not gush out when jugular vein is cut, like, for example, unlawful to eat. There are a lot of fish. They're unlawful to eat, all right? And when cut, jugular vein is cut, the blood does not gush out. So in this case, the feces is pure, but for urine, you have to see there are details. If it has meat, if that animal has meat, then on the basis of obligatory precaution, the urine is also impure. If it does not have meat, then it is pure. All right? Even the urine is pure. Inshallah, this is clear? Okay. Third category is, sorry. The birds whose meat is unlawful to eat. Okay, the birds whose meat is unlawful to eat, their urine and feces are pure, but it is better to avoid them. So the birds whose meat is unlawful to eat, their urine and feces are pure. All right, the birds that are unlawful to eat, their urine and feces are pure, but obviously it's better to avoid them. The fifth category is the animals that are lawful to eat. That are lawful to eat, their obviously urine and feces are pure. So this was our discussion with regards to the uh, laws regarding urine and feces. Like we said, when it comes to human body and every animal whose blood, whose meat is unlawful to eat and whose blood gush out, impure, an animal whose meat is unlawful to eat and whose blood does not gush out, like fish and mosquitoes and flies, feces are pure. But when it comes to urine, there is detail. If it has meat, then it is on the basis of obligatory precaution impure, otherwise pure. The birds whose meat is unlawful to eat, their feces and urine or droppings are pure, but it's better to avoid them. The animals that are lawful to eat, they are pure. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. أحسن الله عليك.
الدرس الثاني
إيه بعد.